everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Marina, if you didn't already know. This video is going to be how to do makeup for beginners. I feel like I never saw this when I first started makeup, and I wanted to introduce it into the space. So stick around and you'll see how I got this look using the most simple steps that I could. So the first thing I want to talk about is tools. I feel like it's very important to have a good set of tools because that's your base. It's what you're applying all these products with. But the difference is expensive doesn't mean better all the time. One thing I would definitely just suggest is getting a set. Don't try and buy individual brushes. This is the Jeffree Star Morphe set. And honestly, it's a lot of brushes and it's not crazy expensive at all. And I love these brushes. This is literally all you need and more for your eyes. I have more just from over the years, but this is all you need. It's so good. And then with face stuff, I just have a bunch of cheap beauty blenders. These are I don't even know where they're from. Probably Ulta, the dollar section. But they work good. You don't need to buy a $30 beauty blender. You can literally use something like this. Another good one also is the Jeffree Star set because it has these little ones that I really like using under my eyes. Okay, and next is priming. It's definitely important to have a really nice base, but it's not 100% necessary. Really nothing in makeup is 100% necessary, but especially this. I like it, and if you can do this, I would definitely recommend it, but it's not the end of the world if you can't. I have a couple different things. So I would definitely start with a moisturizer. I like to also put some of my face oil into this. I think you need a nice set base. Moisturize, you don't want your skin to dry out. Makeup can be so damaging. You really need a nice base. And then if you wanted to use a primer, I definitely recommend the Milk Hydro Primer. You put it on your fingers, it almost feels sticky, and you put it on your face and your makeup just grips to it and it stays on for so long. I've cried and my makeup still stays on because of this. And then there's also different sprays you could use. This is the MAC Fix Plus. I really like it. This one's the pineapple one. I think it smells really good. I like to use this because I don't have super dry skin, but I get nervous that's going to get dried out because of makeup. So I like to use this to prime because it adds that extra layer of moisture. So normally I'll do this set just to moisturize, then the spray, and then once that dries, put this on. So now moving on to base, there's kind of a lot of options with this, even though you wouldn't really think it. So obviously there's foundation and concealer. Foundation goes on first, concealer goes on in specific spots. But there's certain types of concealer that you can get that can work as your entire base. This one's from MAC. I love it. A lot of times I use it by itself because it's very buildable and it spreads really well. So I'll do one layer over my whole face and then a second layer where I would normally put concealer, which is under my eyes and in my T-zone. So I think I'm going to be doing that today because I just love how this works. Foundations can get a little expensive. This one's by Tarte. It's the Rainforest of the Sea one. It's definitely a little expensive, but I found it was worth it because I really like it when I'm looking for a more full coverage face. And another tip, if you don't want to buy an eyeshadow primer, your concealer can really do the job. I like how this one works a lot. So I'll take a damp beauty blender. Again, doesn't have to be the actual brand. And just tap. Don't ever rub with a beauty blender. Just tap and move it around and blend this all in. And always be patient when you're blending. You really want this to come out good, so you just have to take your time and just tap it all over. You can definitely go in with your fingers. I do that a lot. So I really like how this looks because it's super light. If you're just running out of the house, or if you're just starting, you don't want everyone to look at you oh my god, she's wearing so much makeup. This is definitely a good start. But now I'm going to add some more and just put it, like I said, where I normally put concealer. Because this is so buildable that you can make it light coverage or even up to full coverage. Now I'm going to take a smaller beauty blender this time so I can really get in to the creases of my face. And I just like how like this adds like just a little bit more coverage to the areas that are darker or more red, and I just love how this applies. I'm a little bit obsessed with this product. Okay, so now that my face is done, I'm gonna move on to eyebrows. Again, there's a couple different ways you could choose to do your eyebrows. One's with a pencil. I really like this one. It's by Benefit. One side has like the pencil where the actual like brow color is, and the other side has a spoolie. I love spoolies. I think no matter what way you do your eyebrows, you need to start with a spoolie just to make sure, like this, they're all combed out. Whether you have thick, thin, non-existent eyebrows, I think you need it. The next one is a brow gel. This one's by Milk. I really like it. You open it. It comes out like this with some color on it. I like to use this as like a topper once I'm done to hold my brows in place because I have, as you can see, pretty crazy brows. And the last option would be like a pomade or like a dip brow. This one's by ColourPop. You just open it up and there's like the products in here, and you would use this kind of brush, which also is in the Jeffree Star set of brushes. So, I mean, that gets your eyebrows and your brows done if you just need that brush. This one comes with this though, and you dip it in and you just draw in your brows. My personal favorite, I would say, I used this for a long time, but then I got a pencil and I really like being able to draw the strokes in with like a solid pencil. So I think I'm gonna do that with the Benefit pencil, and then use this as a topper. And now I like to draw just little hairs in the front first, so it looks just like a little bit fuller. You're not coloring this in like the crayon. Then I try and do a line underneath. My brows are a little crazy right now because obviously quarantine. Try and make a line underneath and then a line on top to like finish that tail like that. And then I like to continue that line a little bit on top, just like around the curve. And then you just kind of color the rest in, little brush strokes. So now once you go in with the gel, you can really like put your brow hairs exactly where you want them. And then once the gel dries, they're stuck there. Now we'll move on to eyeshadow. First, I'll just talk about options. Obviously, there are thousands and thousands of eyeshadow palettes, but you don't need these crazy expensive ones to do good makeup. Obviously, they're nice to have, but you don't need it. My absolute favorite brand of eyeshadows that are not expensive at all, but they work so well, is ColourPop. These palettes are like $10, $12, and they're so nice. I'm gonna do something super simple for you guys. Make sure your concealer's still on your eyes so it all sticks. I'm gonna take just a light brown, like a super nude light brown. I'm going with this one right here from the Take Me Home palette, and just tap it all over your lid. I'm using a flat brush for this because I find it covers a decent amount of area, but also is precise with the color. Now I'm going to go into the Cute AF palette, and I'm going to take a fluffier, kind of more blending brush like this one. This one's, the last one was JS11, and now I'm going to be using JS8, and I'm going to take this color right here. It's a perfect transition shade, and this is where you're just going to pack it right into your crease. So I'll show you what that means. Right where when you open and close your eye, where it kind of folds in all through here, you're going to want to slowly move your brush in little circles. And you really, really have to be patient with this. A little goes a long way, and blending takes forever, but it'll really benefit your look. I'm going to be taking this shade from the Take Me Home palette with the brush JS10. I'm just going to take it on the very tip and try to place it just on the very outer area towards the bottom. See how I'm laying it down kind of on the lash line, but also up into where this was blended out, just like this. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Don't blend yet. I know that sounds crazy because I just told you to blend forever, but do not blend yet. Now, I would take another blending brush. You can use the same one or a different one. I'm going to be taking JS12 and just blend that in. There you go. It's very subtle, but you can see the little bit of definition on the outside. I really like that. So now these next two things are definitely not as like subtle. So if you wanted to stop here, you definitely could. This brush, it is JS13, and go back in with the crease shade, except we're gonna put it underneath our lash line. All right, now that that's done, again, one more kind of optional step. You could do some inner corner highlight. I'll go back into the Take Me Home palette and take this one. You kind of want to take either a shimmer or a super light color and just touch it on the inside of your eye, almost where your tear duct is. So now we're going to move into contour. You've probably seen it if you watch any YouTuber ever. Hoola bronzer really is the best. It blends like a dream. I know it's not super cheap, but if you want to contour, I would definitely recommend getting this. So I take a little bit and I kind of make like a fish face almost. And you want to go in the contour of where it pulled in. So, ready? And I know it's going to look crazy at first, but this is where you start. And remember what I said about blending before. Just blend and blend and blend. Now, I also like to add a little bit, like a super light touch up here on my temples, because I feel like you don't just want that color on your cheeks. You want it to follow throughout your face. And then a little bit under my jaw. Now for blush, I didn't use blush for a super long time, but I stole this one from my sister. It's by Madison Miller, and I really like it because I feel like it's not super strong. So I'll just take it again, literally a Target brush. You do not need the most expensive brushes in the world. Target. And you just smile and put it on the apples of your cheeks, but I also like to follow up my contour line a little bit. One thing I also like how it looks a little bit is dragging it over the center of your nose and then connecting it with the apples of your cheeks. Now, this next step is another one where it's a little more optional. Highlighter, which is what we're gonna do next, is very loud. For the most part, it's loud. People are gonna see it. If you don't want that, you can totally skip over this. This is more for people who really want to try it for like a party, or even if you just want to wear it out. So I have a more expensive version and a cheaper version right here. ColourPop, again, this is so good. It really blends really well. But my all-time favorite is Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit. This one is the Sweets pack. I've actually broken that one and fixed it because it's so good. But they're super similar, as you can see. I love them both. So I'm going to go in actually with the ColourPop one this time so you guys can see that. There's lots of different highlighter brushes. It doesn't matter. You can even use your finger. Just whatever you can use to really blend it in, go with that. I take another one of these. This is actually the Anastasia brush. I think I got it with that palette. And I like to just tap into a color. I'm going to take just a basic like white highlighter and go right over top here. Now, just a little tip, if you don't want to buy all these different products, this is the Dragon Beauty Face Palette. If you open it up, has 2 bronzers, 2 blushes, and 2 highlighters. I would definitely recommend this to anyone that's starting, especially because it has that mirror on top. I think it's super awesome for beginners because it has everything all in one and they blend so nicely. So now we're really just putting the finishing touches on the face. I'm skipping eyeliner because I personally don't think it's for beginners. I've been doing makeup for a super long time and I still can't do it right. So we're just going to skip over that because, again, not a beginner thing. Onto mascara. It's really just dependent on you. You could go to the drugstore and buy a $5 mascara and those work great. This one, though, personally for me, is my favorite. It's the Milk Kush Mascara. I find it's the most volumizing and lengthening, and I absolutely love it. I have like 2 on deck waiting for me for once this one finishes. All right, now that's on, and we're just left with lipstick. So For your lips, there's a lot of different options that you could use. One thing that is, I will say mandatory, is chapstick. I try to keep it on all the time. I always put it on right before I put my lips on. It's really important to keep your lips nice and safe. So now we'll move on to the types of lips you could use. This one, I think I got in an Ipsy pack. It's like Be a Bombshell. It's almost like a chapstick, but it has like a super light tint to it. You can see it there. I really love this, especially for someone that's a beginner and wants to start super light. This is perfect. Then there's like lip crayons. This one is by Tristique. I love this. This has been a go-to for years. It's literally almost gone. This is high up as it goes. And I think it applies really nicely, almost giving the look of a liquid lip, but not the stain, which we'll get to. Now this is like a glossy type of one. This is called Shine. Again, I think it's from an Ipsy bag. Lip glosses tend to be a little bit more sticky. You could always use them as a topper, but this one is a little bit thicker. You'll see here, like it's a lot more pigmented. I would use it on its own, definitely. Third one. And then onto liquid lips. Liquid lips are a little tricky because they can stain. They're very good because they stay on for long periods of time, but once you try and take them off, it can be a little tricky. I'm gonna put it on here, but they're super pigmented, and like, if you're precise with it, they look amazing. The last one. So I think for today, I'm gonna go in with the crayon because one, I think it goes best with this look, and two, I think it's really good for beginners because it's super easy. You just draw on. I start on the outside and then I fill in. There we go. It's not crazy pigmented, especially when you put it on top of chapstick, but I think it's gorgeous. That is like an all-time favorite of mine. Now, onto the last step. Again, kind of optional, but I really like it because it makes your makeup stay all day. Setting spray. Setting sprays can get a little bit expensive, so you want to watch out. This one is the Urban Decay All Nighter. Definitely more expensive, but I find that it's worth it. If you definitely decide that you're super into makeup, you want to start wearing it, this makes it stick. This one's also very good. Morphe has a whole bunch of them, but this one is the Jeffree Star one, and it smells like strawberries. So good. If you watched my last video, you saw me literally sniff it out of the air because it's so good. Because I used that last time, I'm actually going to use this one. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to post this because I feel like when I started doing makeup, there was nothing like this. So I really wanted to make this to help anyone else that was like starting makeup and just didn't know where to start. So I hope this was helpful. Please comment down below if you have any questions. I'll be around to answer them. Follow me on my socials. They'll all be down below. I can't wait to connect with you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.